All right, welcome to another week of fantasy football. Today is October 25th, 2021. You are in the 411 Sports World show. What's going on, calculator?
Greetings and salutations, Mr. 411. Another wonderful weekend.
Yes, sir. Another one in the books. And it's almost time, man. We're getting down to the nitty gritty of the season.
That's right. This was playoff push time.
Yes, sir. So a lot of things are happening, and we're going to get to it. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get rolling, please do us a favor. Please do those things for us. Please like us. Hit the like, subscribe button, and notification. We would greatly appreciate that.
Yes.
All right. Well, calculator, man, let's jump right into it, man, because there's a lot to unpack today. And we're going to start off with the studs and the duds because there was plenty of them this week. Plenty of studs and duds. So I'll go ahead and just get us jump started there, calculator.
All right.
All right. So some of the studs for the weekend. I mean, Cooper Kupp. Again. He's the poster boy.
Well, he's actually the top two people at your list set records. Cooper Kupp on I think he set a record for most yards and touchdowns in a 7-game stretch, and Jamar Chase has just set a record for the most yards by a rookie in his first 7 games. So we're seeing records being set all over the place.
Yes, sir. Yep.
And I think and I believe AJ Brown is over his food poisoning incident based on
he's well over it.
Yeah, and I think Mike Evans is going to start tripping Antonio Brown in practice coming up, because when Antonio Brown ain't in there getting his stuff, he's starting to get everything. So it's crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and no matter how big of a lead Tampa Bay has, they keep throwing the ball. It's just amazing.
Yeah, that's the most telling thing this season. That, if I had something that was, surprising to me, is that it's just how many times that Tom Brady is passing the ball. I mean, the run game. I mean, Fournette is he's an awesome back to have, and they also had, you would think they had a stable of backs to use this year, but I mean, they're airing it out, man. It's like, wow, Tom Brady is really turning back the time.
And you're getting extra benefits from now. If you saw part of that game, Chicago, when they were like on the goal line, when Tampa Bay was on the goal line, Chicago would play that bunch formation to stop the quarterback sneak, and that just leaves Mike Evans one-on-one, and there isn't a receiver or a cornerback out there that can cover him one-on-one on the outside for those little jump balls and stuff. So Brady was just he could pick your poison. He's going to get a quarterback sneak, or he's just going to throw it to Mike Evans. And then, with Fournette's grumbling on the sideline, they'll say, okay, well, we'll give you a couple touchdowns here and there as well. They just look, and the Bears, I mean, they couldn't. Well, we'll get that in the dud section, I'm sure.
Well, if not, we'll definitely talk about it. But
talk about it, yeah.
But obviously, because there's a reason. If you have a bunch of studs here, there's got to be some duds. As the reason why these guys are studs. But Deandre Swift, as you can see on this graphic here, he's a running back that's on this graphic, while the other ones are receivers. And it's interesting, but if you look at Swift's pass in the passing game, 8 receptions, 96 yards. He's basically a wide receiver there too.
Yeah, but one of those, a lot of that yardage did come on one play, but he showed how dynamic he can be on just one play. One missed tackle, and then he's one of those running backs that can outrun defenses when he's in the open field. Him and Jonathan Taylor is another guy that comes to mind that are just so dang fast. Is when they break something they can take it to the house anytime. And he showed how special he can be. And the thing is, he's kind of frustrating. It's a little frustrating owning him because I actually have him in a league that
Yeah,
he don't practice during the week. He sustained that groin injury early on, so you just kind of got like just grin and bear it until until game day, and hopefully but he keeps showing up. So and anytime he's out there, you put him in there because if he's not going to get you anything on the rushing, he'll definitely make up for it on the receiving side.
absolutely. So let's go to the duds.
Mm.
And as you can see, Aaron Jones on this list. And my tight end, Mark Andrews, I'm just I thought he was going to break out this weekend, but as you can see, he's on the dud list this weekend with just 3 receptions. Antonio Gibson, Brandon Cooks, and Daryl Williams.
Now,
Anything about these guys?
Yeah, we'll go to the Mark Andrews. I'm more of the thing of Mark Andrews. This was even though Lamar Jackson had over 20 fantasy points, it was not from the from the passing side. Lamar Jackson looked really bad when it came to passing the ball because Mark Andrews, he was open on quite a few throws that Lamar just missed him on. And when you look at Aaron Jones, that was just a weird game because it's not like AJ Dillon was any. AJ Dillon actually had negative points for if you were in a league that counted minus points for fumbles. He had as many fumbles as he had yards. So he had negative points. So it was a game plan where Brett Favre said, "Okay, I'm just going to control the game via the pass." It's so crazy that he has a guy like Devonta Adams. Everybody knows he's going to get the ball, but yet nobody can cover him. It boggles my mind. It reminds me of Larry Fitzgerald back in his prime day. Everybody knew Larry Fitzgerald was going to get the ball. You just couldn't find a way to cover him. Antonio Gibson, that is, I think, just medically related. I mean, he's got that broken bone in his shin, and I think that's really affecting it's affecting not only his snap count, but it looks like his effectiveness of, if somebody goes low on him, he's going down because he don't want anybody to hit that lower leg with that broken bone in his shin. And Brandon Cooks, again, look at his quarterback, another quarterback that, although Brandon Cooks up to this point, even in bad games, this was really, in my opinion, and what I've seen is his first true bad game. Even though his quarterback's been bad all year, this was just it was another odd thing that they just, I don't know if Mills was trying to throw to somebody else or what, but this was, but Brandon Cooks in a week where you had all those weak teams on a bye, you have Brandon Cooks, you're feeling pretty good about it until the end of the game, when in the end in the stat line. And then Daryl Williams, again, game script. I mean, they were just, Tennessee just took it to them, and I think Mahomes just looked off. I mean, he's looked off the last couple weeks, but this was the first time, and Mahomes could be on this dud list as well. I mean, you had Matt White of the New York Jets outscoring Mahomes this week. All right. So that just goes to tell you how bad. And yes, I might seem a little bitter because I had Mahomes in one of my guillotine leagues, thinking, I didn't have to worry about his bye week until week 12. And he just, anybody who knows about a guillotine league, you get the lowest points in your league, you're out for the year. And my season's over in that. In one of my leagues, I still got two I'm still alive in, thanks to Jalen Hurts and some other guys. But yeah, I had Daryl Williams paired with Mahomes, and the negative correlation, I thought that would be a positive correlation, actually. I thought somebody would get points, if whether through the air or to the ground. But Tennessee's defense at home the past 2 games, I don't know what's gotten over them. But they were putting pressure on Mahomes, and Mahomes was just he looked like he just wasn't that good. Straight saying, all these people, he's making all these commercials, and stuff like that, thinking, it's like, hey, I've been to 2 straight Super Bowls. Well, we see what happens when you're doing more commercials than all-season conditioning. That could happen.
Yes, sir. Speaking of commercials calculator, we're going to go ahead and put a plug in for our sponsor, Heavenly Spa Mobile, and that is Miss LaTanya Rainey, Heavenly Spa Mobile. Take a listen.
Hi, I'm Latanya with Healthy Spa Mobile. I'm a licensed massage therapist and owner. I've been practicing 18 years. If you're in need of any stress relief, tension, muscle, body aches, or just want to relax, you need to get yourself a massage. And please come check me out again at Heavenly Spa Mobile. I'm located at 2484 Ingleside Avenue. And I can be reached at 478-747-9231. Or you may go online to healthyspa-mobile.com. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Mr. 411, somebody needs to get a gift certificate from Heavenly Spa Mobile and send it to Mahomes because he needs to relax after what I saw this past week.
Yes, he definitely needs to see Latanya, because that one hit when his head hit the thigh of the defensive lineman. I mean, wow, man, come on! Like
that was one of the things they said. They said, Mahomes, where are you? And he said, Tuesday. So it's like, all right, you gotta go to concussion protocol.
Absolutely. And yes, and speaking of that gift certificate calculator, $70. If Heavenly Spa intro special, $70. That's all. $70 for an hour. You have to take advantage of that, ladies and gentlemen. So please reach out to Heavenly Spa Mobile. You see the address at the bottom, 2484 Ingleside Avenue, Building A, Suite 101A, Macon, Georgia, 31204. She can be reached at 478-747-9231. It's that time of the season where you can start getting your gifts together, and that'll be a great way to do it.
Oh, one more thing. It says an hour massage, but it lasts you throughout the day and throughout the week. You feel it. You feel the relaxation more than just the hour that is going on. That's the one good thing about, a nice deep tissue Swedish massage.
Absolutely, calculator. And look, you have the pink shirt on, and breast cancer awareness, man. You did it again. Once again, calculator.
And I just want to say it was a great time. My daughter played. Like I said, this is my daughter's team, and this past Saturday at one of the teams, her whole team came out in the pink shirt and warm-ups, and parents up and down the road were wearing their pink shirts in support. So it was great to see. We had a pink out at the home game this past Saturday at my daughter's soccer game.
Absolutely. All right, check out the Sports Brothers on Tuesday and Thursday evenings at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find the Sports Brothers on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and also what else, calculator?
Zingo TV, my friend. Our wonderful friends at Zingo TV.
Absolutely. We thank Zingo for supporting the 411 Sports World shows, the Sports Brothers, and all in between. Calculator, it's time, man. Let's go ahead. We talked about the studs and duds, and as a result of that, you probably have to make some changes to your lineup. You got to make some adjustments. And one of the major ways to do that is to get to the wire.
Yes, sir. And, we helped our friends out last week when, our number one person we talked about was the Cleveland running back, Dearness Johnson, and he paid off. We said, hey, if you needed a win, we said, and I even talked to this. I have a relationship with one of our, a personal relationship with one that I used to work with who's a regular listener, Larry. And we were talking about, hey, Dearness Johnson's number one list, but is he worth a number one waiver priority? And I said, Larry, it depends. It depends on record. If you needed that one win and you were facing the apocalypse like a lot of teams, yes, he was worth number one. However, if you were sitting good, you feel good about your team, he is a 1 week wonder, and it's not, or he probably a 1 week rental. Probably don't need him. So, I suggested you got to look and assess your team's situation, your record, before you start blowing waiver priority, even though we rank them, from, top, this is probably top guy or second guy. Look at your record and look if you can afford to not, because that number one waiver priority really could help you when it comes to playoff rosters. And Dearness Johnson, I really don't think that he is a playoff roster type guy. Right. Yes, he might garner more touches based on thing, but guess, hey, Kareem Hunt's not out for the year. So if Kareem Hunt goes, Dearness Johnson's basic to what? Maybe he's earned himself a 5% snap share when Kareem Hunt does get back, and he'll probably get back during playoff time. So, that's when you got to start looking at this. So I'll just go straight. into my number one waiver priority. If he's out there, and I know a lot of people say, well, this guy's not in my league. What we do is we assess if they're available in over 50% of Yahoo leagues, since that's what we play with, right? And I am going to say, I do have an adjustment since this waiver wire column came out. There is some news that I'll go over after I go over the two guy on our list. But number one, Kenneth Gainwell pretty much straight says he caught a 13-yard touchdown. He led the backfield after Miles Sanders' ankle injury. And the word is on the Miles ankle injury, it is similar to a Saquon Barkley. In other words, he'll be out possibly 2 to 3 weeks, not the high ankle sprain, not the 4 to 6 week sign. But a thing, and another thing people might want to see is that, Boston Scott actually got into the action as well. However, Kenneth Gainwell is the guy that's going to get you the points through the air. And if you've seen anything with Philadelphia, they are the new Jacksonville Jaguars of 5 years ago, where they just love garbage yards. They'll give up much of points, but they're going to keep chucking the ball all over the field. And Gainwell is going to be the recipient of a lot of that stuff. So even though Gainwell and Boston Scott are both going to share the backfield, I think Kenneth Gainwell is the guy you should roster if he's available in your league. Hey, if he's not available, I'm almost sure I've seen Boston Scott available in 90% of Yahoo leagues. So I'm almost positive Boston Scott will be out there, and he'll get most of the stuff on the ground. But as we see Philadelphia this year, just look at what Miles Sanders, they don't like going on the ground a lot. They like going through the air, and that's where Gainwell is going to be most benefits. Rashad Penny might not be on people's roster because a lot of people probably heard the news last week. We mentioned that he will be coming on. Last week we mentioned he will be coming on off of IR. So if you picked him up last week, but this is another guy. Hey, if you can, go ahead and pick him up. Because yes, Chris Carson is out another couple weeks because he was officially put on IR. Alex Collins, it looks like he's just sore. They never really specified an injury for Alex Collins. They just said he was sore, and he didn't even practice, and he was a limited participant in Saturday's walkthrough. So we could see Rashad Penny as soon as this week if he's available. If you hadn't been picked up and you're thinking about him, Monday night would be a good time to look at him. But the guy I want to put at number 3 is actually Allen Lazard. He's a little bit lower on our list. He was number 5. The reason I put him up number 3 this time is he wasn't when we looked at the thing. This hadn't coming out, but Devonta Adams has been placed on the COVID restricted list. So with it being a Thursday night game, he will not be able to be active on Thursday night against that big matchup against Arizona. And Allen Lazard showed the past 2 weeks. It looks, and we've seen what Devonta Adams does as Aaron Rodgers' favorite target. Allen Lazard looks like he could be the clear-cut number 1 guy against the Arizona Cardinals in what could be a great. Hey, Arizona is going to score against Green Bay. We know that. So in order for them to keep up, what are they going to have to do? They're going to have to pass the ball. Who's going to be the number 1 target? Most likely Allen Lazard. So if Allen Lazard can take a page out of Devonta Adams' books, run the same routes. Aaron Rodgers will get you the ball. So Allen Lazard, actually, I'd like to move him up to number 3, Mr. 411, because I think he's going to have a phenomenal gain this week. And I just want to tell people, beware today or this week. You don't have that many buys. So if you were suffering last week, you could, if you suffered last week because a lot of buys, that means your guys are coming back this week. I think the only 2 were like Baltimore and the Raiders, I think, was the other one. I can't remember off the top, but I do know it's just a 2-person bye week this week. So you can get some relief with not having so many things. And that's why Rashad Bateman could be available. A lot of people might not go and pick him up with them being on a bye this week. But his target share is increasing. And, if Lamar is poor in his throws, it looks like he's throwing enough that he can support another receiver to go with Malcolm Brown's being the deep threat, Marvin Andrews being the safety valve. You got to have that other guy to pick up the slack. And I think Rashad Bateman, they spent the draft capital on the guy, so they might like the guy for for some reason. And just look at that. 3 of 6 targets, 80 yards. So he is one of the few that I really like. Malcolm Brown, and whoever saw that game, that was an incredible catch by Malcolm Brown in the end zone.
It was amazing.
It was great. Bateman, he's more of a short guy, but he's great after the catch. So that's why I really like Bateman, especially if Sammy Watkins continues to miss time. Russell Gage, he's high on our list as well. He's back. He was injured. I think the bye week is what got him back. And as long as you're going to have Matt Ryan continue to throw the ball, their defense is going to continue to put them in negative game strips where they have to throw the ball. And I think teams are going to start, hey, they're going to rotate coverage to who? Pitts, to Ridley. That Russell Gage is going to have nickel corner single coverage pretty much all game long. So even though he's a number 3 target, I think he'll get the valuable targets, with Pitts and Ridley getting a lot of the attention out there. So I think those are a couple receivers. Oh, Brandon Bolden. Okay. Yes. He's a New England he's a New England running back, people. I got to put him out there because some people are so running back needy. He's going to be, hey, who was the inactive, the surprising healthy scratch in Rashad Stevenson? Everybody thought Stevenson was going to get a lot of the touches, but Bill Belichick does what Bill Belichick does. He says, okay, we're going to – who's not going to be a healthy scratch ever? Brandon Bolden. The guy's been with him forever, and Bill Belichick loves him. I really – if you're in a thing Brandon Bolden shows what he can do in a New England backfield in a game that it looks like he was the James White. J.J. Taylor, he got in there, but he pretty much came in there when the game was out of hand, when the game was still somewhat within reach. Brandon Bolden was getting all the passes through the air and stuff. And CJ, oh my goodness,
this is
we know about tight ends, but he's continuing to do what he does. I mean, it looks like he's taking over Tyler Boyd as the number 3 guy in that high-powered Cincinnati defense. And when he's getting that single coverage, he shows what he can do after the catch. Fortunately, I was in a league where a guy was facing a bipocalypse and he started CJ Uzmanzada and got those all the recipients, and he's going to go. It's like, some people had to start him last week, Mr. 411. I saw another league where they started Pitts as a flex player, and they had Uzmanzada in their tight end because they didn't want to, drop. I looked at their rest, and they had people like Tony Pollard and people that were kind of like so people, but they were these lottery tickets, and they didn't want to take a chance. I saw a lot of people keeping their field goal kickers in, like Bass, who's a high-powered kicker for Buffalo, so they didn't want to drop him. Emmanuel Sanders, you don't want to drop him because so a lot of people had to keep these guys. So it's like, hey, just throw Pitts in the flex spot, and have CJ Uzmanzada, who they probably had picked him up last week for Pitts, who was on a bye week, and they say, hey, I'll just use him again this week, and he paid off. So those people that need tight ends out there, you could do a lot worse than Uzmanzada. And then Devonta Freeman, we actually referenced him last week as well, saying, hey, if you're going to get a running back for the Ravens, Freeman might be the way to go. Again, he didn't lead in running back touches. It was still a 3-headed attack. They still gave Bill some. Tyson Williams came back into the fold because Murray got home. But hey, 7 touches, 39 yards. But hey, he got that important touchdown to make him relevant. So yeah, if you don't get a touchdown, he's not going to be relevant. But hey, Baltimore shows they like to get their running backs touchdown. And Darius Slayton, you're always going to have some wide receiver for the Giants. some no-name guy, but Tony's out. Galladay is still hurt. Shepard, everybody was liking Shepard this past weekend. He was going to be a fabulous play, but all of a sudden he had a setback for a hamstring injury on Thursday. I'm thinking, I didn't even know he had an hamstring injury to begin with. So how did he have a setback? So that just tells me it's like, yeah, but Slayton, hey, he had 9 targets, 63 yards. And, he's not on this list, but Dante Pettis, we had a Dante Pettis sighting for the Giants as well. But he's not a guy I would think I would, if I had a Giants receiver that I'd have to go to. Darius Slayton is my guy, and they get you think they're going to be in catch-up mode with Kansas City next week, so that's an eye to keep your eye on. We had a Khalif Raymond sighting in the Giants, another guy. Hey, if you must have a Detroit receiver, I think of all those, he's the number one guy to get, and they're going up against that awful Philadelphia secondary this week. And then, yes, Tim Patrick makes the list every week, but I'm kind of down on him, and the reason he's down on the list is Jerry Judy. He's coming back. And I think when he comes back, Tim Patrick can actually be dropped. So that even though he has a favorable matchup coming up, look at the Judy news. And I'm going to be, it looks like the Saints receivers are starting to come back with Traquan Smith. Michael Thomas could return in a couple of weeks. But if Marquez Callaway's out there, I still like him because I say even if Michael Thomas comes back, Marquez then turns into your deep threat. And we saw at least it looks like Sean Payton took the reins off a little of Winston, and he can. It looks like once he goes deep, Callaway's the guy. And another guy I want to talk about. People that might have dropped him, or especially if they didn't have an IR slot, Michael Gallup is coming back for the Cowboys, and he proved. If you looked at Week 1, he was getting all the Amari. He was ahead of Amari Cooper and the guy who's the main guy. His name escapes me right now for the Cowboys. But anyways, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb. That's the guy I was thinking.
Lamb.
Michael Gallup.
88.
He was. Yeah, there you go. He was. Gallup was getting all the targets and stuff for that. So Michael Gallup, if he's on your waiver wire, I see no reason. Dallas is going to throw the ball early and often. And Gallup, we talked about being the third receiver, getting single coverage from a nickel guy. Michael Gallup can beat those guys all day long. So
yes, sir. All right. Well, calculator, that's waiver wire. So and also keep in mind, like we touched on earlier, the bye weeks and the information we have scrolling down below for you. And you remember that group? I can't remember their name, but they used to sing this song right here. Bye, bye, bye. I can't remember the name of the group, but it's the bye.
Is that NSYNC?
Yes, sir. There you go.
Yes, sir.
Bye, bye, bye. Yeah, there you
go. I love me some NSYNC now.
All right, so keep an eye on the bye weeks coming up for Week 9. All right. Well, calculator, before we get into our listener league, I just want to share a little information. Catch the calculator. Catch him on Thursdays on Crossing the Lines. If you want to fatten your pockets with the little friendly wagers, listen to the calculator. He gives you a slate of 7 matchups that you could use in your friendly wagers, and make sure it will ensure that you have a great weekend as you cash in. So check out the calculator on Thursdays, 5 p.m. Crossing the Lines.
Especially for that jackpot pit. We're on a hot streak. 3 weeks in a row, jackpot hit.
Jackpot. Ding, ding, ding.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. So let's go ahead and take a look at the listener league. That's the league that me, you, and Lacey and others are in. Larry has just been the man this season. He's dominating this year.
We just want to say, great friend of the show.
Excellent. Yes, he is a loyal listener, loyal follower of the show. We really love Larry, and Larry is doing his thing. He is leading the league. He's doing his thing. Go ahead, Captain.
Hey, Mr. 41, you want? There we go. I was about to say, if you want to pull it up for our fans out, yeah. Nobody wants to get. I mean, Larry, he has survived you see he has 2 losses, and it's because it's when Mike Williams and Mike Evans, the Mike and Mikes, hadn't been doing him any favors. But he has other guys that just seem to pick up the slack every time. Larry has an impressive team because it looks like he's going to win this week again, even though he had a down week from Aaron Jones. It's just because Joe Mixon got him a touchdown. Mike Evans got him 3 touchdowns. So Larry, he's showing why he's not going to be he's not going to be fun to play when anybody. And I think I still have him on my schedule. But I don't want to brag or bring attention to myself, but I think I've had success against Larry in the past.
That's going to make it an interesting matchup.
Yeah, it is. I know, but me and Larry, like I said, we worked together for a while, and that'd be always we were part of rivalry week, So we always had a rival, and it was me and Larry. But I'm glad I'm not playing Larry this week, or last week for that matter. I had to go up against Mike Evans, because what's impressive is Larry. Of all the teams, he had one of his main guys was on a bye week, and Larry says he just picks people up, put them in there, and they let them play on the 50-yard line, and see what happens. And he's doing it. So
that's a sign of having a great team, though, when you can, manage it throughout the season and make great pickups, and that is the key to winning the whole thing. And he's definitely on track of doing that. He's been a strong fantasy player for years.
Yes,
I think I played with him for at least 12 to 15 years now, and he's always been a tough out.
Yeah, and Larry is one of those tried and true waiver wire warriors. I remember every time in lunch on a Tuesday, he say, "I put my picks in." Yes, he don't tell me who he goes because he's letting them know that hey, he's got some picks out there, so you better be ready. If you want some, you got to put them in for waivers. You ain't gonna snatch them up for free. Larry makes you pay for them, so that it's always good. So
yeah, he definitely does, calculator.
Yeah, I just want a hard luck award to the Robert. I'm not going to say the name due to FCC violations, but we call him DF. He brought back an old name from one of our past. Looks like he could have the second most points in the league and still get the loss because he went up against a tough Captain Cosmo. Captain Cosmo, he's coming on strong too. So especially now that Captain Cosmo's main guys and Kamara had his bye week, looks like Captain Cosmo is going to be a tough out too. Looks like a talented Mr. Ridley could be hitting a skid. But do you want to talk about a possible trade in the making that the talented Mr. Ridley has gotten into with the calculator?
Calculator, I love the way you brought. Okay, you're gonna pull it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up. There we go. Okay, perfect. Yeah, this was a classic. And I'll tell you from my perspective because I was in this trade. You could be saying, "No, this is one-sided trade." When you look at preseason rankings, right? C. Patterson was an afterthought. Justin Jefferson, round 3, I think the talented Mr. Ripley got him in. But if you look at the classification for Patterson, Ridley needs a running back. So, and right now, my situation from my side is I wanted an upgraded receiver. I have plenty of running backs, and I was using Patterson as my flex player because I like my my running backs. I didn't have to put Patterson in there. Patterson has gotten over his bye. That's another reason the talented Mr. Ripley went for this trade. And now I tried to get this trade, and I did put this trade out there for. I tried to get it out there early so that the talented Mr. Ridley would have accepted it, so he would have had Patterson for this week. So, but he didn't accept it in time to get that, and that's why it looks like it'll be go through until the next week. So yes, I think Jefferson is the better player. However, when you look at running back scarcity from Mr. Ridley, now he has another running back to back up because how many receivers receive 10 carries from the and are designated as and their actual position is wide receiver. And if you saw, he had a rushing touchdown again this week. He is shown to be very effective. Mike Davis is a little banged up. They were talking about, and that's why he didn't receive as many carries against what I thought was a favorable matchup against Miami. Patterson, he gets carries, he gets receptions, and it looks like he's getting touchdowns. So yeah, I think I got the better player in the trade. I wouldn't have done the trade if I didn't think I got the better player, but position scarcity is what Mr. Ridley was going for, and that's why Mr. Ridley accepted the trade. In my opinion, I can't speak for Mr. Ridley, but when I was going out looking for trades, that's what I was looking. I was looking for a person. I wanted an upgrade at the receiver position for people that needed a running back. I'll give full disclosure. I offered Patterson to there, and I was talking with Larry. As a matter of fact, I was hoping to get Mike Evans 2 weeks ago, and he came back for Cortland Sutton. And when I was actually going to take the Cortland Sutton, but then when the news broke about Judy coming back, that kind of said, okay, I can't do that now. I'm going to need a guy where I know there's no question marks. The thing that does scare me about Jefferson is Conklin is getting more involved. It looks like Kirk Cousins is starting to look Osborne's way more often. So I think the target share for Jefferson is coming down, but I think Justin Jefferson is such an elite talent. I'm willing to take on those risks for a Cordell Patterson. And it's because Jacobs has come back for me. I have Chuba Hubbard holding down the fort until McCaffrey comes back. Although we didn't talk about it, Jacobs did exit last week, but hey, I have Daryl Henderson as well. So I don't know if I would have made this trade if I know Jacobs got hurt. So that I did them. When you make these trades, you don't go back when you get more information. A deal's a deal. So it kind of hurt me when one of my running back pieces went down for an injury. But that's the thing about a deal. You don't go back if two people have agreed upon it. But hey, I just have to hope that I don't hit any more injuries for my position. But we'll see if that trade goes down. It looks like like I said, I can't speak for Ridley. I was just my thought process, and that's what you do when you make a trade. You try to be in the person's situation, and that's what I was trying to do when I did try to make that same trade with Larry. It's like Larry had all these receivers. And at the time, Evans was coming off a bad game. So I think, maybe I thought, hey, Larry might want to be, give him a rest a little. And at that time, Joe Mixon had gotten nicked up. So I was thinking Larry might want to say, and Larry was going to make the trade, but I just didn't think Cortland Sutton with the return of Judy and so that's why me and Larry, that deal kind of fell through. So that's when I started putting feelers to other people to see for other people that I thought needed running backs that had a receiver that could benefit my team as well. Because you want to trade to benefit both players. You don't want to totally rip off a guy. That's going to give you a bad name going down the road, and then nobody will trade with you. You do want to see where a trade helps both teams. But again, you do want to trade to help yourself that, you think you got the better player. And that's what and that's why I made that trade. I wouldn't have made the trade if I didn't think it would benefit me at all. So,
yeah. And when you make those trades, something like this pops up and you have to make that decision. Are you going to reject the trade, counter, or have a discussion about it, or click the accept button?
And exactly. And that's what Larry did. Accept. Yes, when I did that with Larry, he did the counter. He did the counter for the Cortland Sutton, and I almost pressed accept. Tyrone, I almost pressed accept, but the Jerry Judy news, I said I couldn't do it. Then I couldn't give up a valuable running back at that time for a guy I might not start every week. Justin Jefferson's a no-brainer. He's a guy that you start and forget about it. Cortland's more of a schedule type play.
Yeah. All right. Well. Man, that does it for today, Calculator. That's plenty of information for the listeners. If you have any questions or comments, go to our YouTube show, type in 411 Sports World, and in the comment section below the video, just enter your comments and your questions, or give us your lineup and what you would like. Any questions about that, and we'll give you the response. We'll respond.
That's right, Mr. 411. Yeah, Mr. 411 looks at those every day.
Every day. All right, so do that for us. We thank you for watching, and Calculator, I definitely appreciate you being on till the next time. But for everyone, he's the Calculator. I am Mr. 411. We thank everyone for watching. We thank everyone for listening, and we'll see you soon. Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.